Hi, and welcome to M. Claire's Yoga and Wellness channel. So, a little bit of a recap or a refresh of what's been going on. Anyone that has been watching my YouTube channel for a while knows that I was training for Ironman, and I did so dedicating it to a dear friend and family member of ours who sadly passed away of stage 4 cancer last year. And the journey was pretty amazing, but it was challenging, and I definitely didn't give myself enough time to try and get all the training done that I would have liked to. However, we got to race day, and I'd also done it for Ironman for Kids charity. So I had two really big reasons to push myself and accomplish the goal that I'd set for myself. Now, race day came, and we had the worst conditions that they have had since 2012. We had 45-kilometer winds. We had an easterly wind, which made the sea really choppy and really challenging for many of us. And then with that wind, we also had a headwind on the run, which made it really long and tiring. We had every season of the day. We had the heat, the humidity, we had thunderstorms, we had some rain. I mean, it really was wild, but it was such an amazing journey to have done. And like I said, for two amazing causes, donating and receiving money for the Ironman for Kids, which is just a fantastic charity. Go check it out, and you can still donate. There's many ways of doing so and giving back. Even if you're not the one out there having to compete, you can definitely donate and just help a little kiddie's life out there to be just that little bit better, or a lot better, depending on where you are. And through the journey that we did, I also had an injury, so I wasn't able to run 2 months up to racing, so I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make it. So that was another challenging component, and I'd never run a marathon before, let alone after I'd swum 3.8 kilometers and then cycled 180 kilometers. But I did manage it, barely, but I managed it and made it across the finish line. And then, to my surprise, I qualified for the World Championships, which are in Nice in France. So I've got to do it all over again, and the training this time will be hopefully injury-free and also a lot more intense. So getting back to what we're going to do today, because of the way that when you train for a big endurance race or anything that pushes yourself to the extreme or the limit that your body is not used to, your body takes a big hammering. I mean, I barely could walk. The next day I had more pains and aches than I think I've ever had before, which brings us back to the yoga. So although I had a lot of challenges, I did consistently practice yoga to really help when your muscles are tight and fatigued and your body is really straining. By giving your body that little bit of release and that time on the mat, it really does help you not only going into a race, but also post-race. And so that you're able to help yourself heal and get back to training, like myself, that much quicker and also effectively, because you don't want to start so soon that your body ends up just blowing out, not only because your organs take a big toll as well, but because your body is really struggling to get back to where it was before. So by doing yoga, and it doesn't have to be anything too intense, but just moving your body and releasing the muscles and stretching it out, and also giving your mind that time to just relax and be present on the mat, really helps. You know, when you're doing an endurance race, it is a lot to do with your mental capacity, and so you put a lot on your body, not only physically but mentally. So being on your mat really helps to give yourself that time to relax, be with yourself, but by moving your body in really great effective ways, as well as strengthening and toning at the same time. So today's flow, we're actually going to do it's not going to be a long flow, but I want to make it really core based, because having a strong core, I found, helps in so many aspects. My inner core muscles were actually very weak, and from that I've suffered through this journey of Ironman. I've suffered with bad backs, because obviously my back was tighter, my muscles around my back were tighter than the inner abdominal muscles. I then had problems with my glutes and then hamstrings, and everything's having to compensate. So today's flow is going to be really focusing on strengthening those inner abdominals to help you, but also doing poses that are going to help relieve some of the tension that we hold in our hip flexors and in our quads, and just to allow our bodies to have that way of recovering when we've either had a really intense workout, or, like I said, after you've had a really tough event that you've just completed. So that is going to be the purpose of the flow today. So let's get started. Like I said, it's not going to be a long flow. We're going to keep it nice and short and sweet, so that it's something you can implement in so many different areas. If you need a quick workout to help to bring yourself presently on the mat, release the muscles, but also tone at the same time, this is going to be a great one to keep coming back to and doing after races, before races, after hard training sessions. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, let's come into a child's pose. And first we want to become present on our mat. This time we're going to start with our knees to the outside, keeping our toes together and sinking our chest all the way down to the floor. And we're just going to relax in this pose, really feel everything, just become present, focused on yourself before we start getting into toning and strengthening the core. And try, if you can, to bring your glutes towards your heels, and then bring your forehead towards the mat, reaching your fingertips to the front of the mat and really lengthening through your arms at the same time. When you're ready, come on up to all fours into your tabletop. Really pull your core towards your navel, towards your spine. Lengthen through your spine, and we're going to lift that back leg, and we're just going to do some little pulses. Really engaging your core here. It's a small movement, but it works really well. Last one. Change sides. Come back down. Then you're going to bring your knee to the side. Also small movement, but really pulling the navel towards your spine. We want to strengthen our pelvis, but we also want to strengthen the core. So keeping really still as we do this. Change sides. Come back to center. Lengthen through your spine. We're going to do some cat-cows here. Look towards the ceiling. Then tilt your tailbone, bringing your chin towards your chest, really rounding through your spine. 2 more times. Come back to center. This time you're going to reach, keep your core engaged the whole way through it. Although we may not be doing specific core work, this is all for your core at the same time as doing other movements that help as well with our flexibility and mobility. Reach your hand towards the ceiling on your right side, and then you're just going to thread it through. And we're going to do 5 of those. Last one. Come back to neutral. Change sides. Reach your left arm towards the ceiling, and then thread it through. Last one. Come back to center, tuck your toes, and push up into our downward facing dog. Really lengthen through your hamstrings here in the back of your calves. If you're tight, this will feel really good, but if you need to, have a bend in the knee. And you can also just walk your feet out on the spot here, coming all the way up onto your toes, getting into your feet at the same time. Keep your feet shoulder width apart. Then come back to neutral and just hold this position for a second, pushing through your hands and bringing your sternum towards the mat. Then we're going to come forward into our high plank. Here we're going to hold this. If you need to, you can come down onto your knees or just take a break and then come back up again. This is really, really good, not only for an all-body strengthening pose, but this also is fantastic for getting into your inner core. And this is one of the ones that I've found is really beneficial in helping as I've moved along this journey on finding out which areas of my body I've needed to strengthen in order to balance everything out, where other areas aren't overcompensating because of the weakness that I was holding in areas like my inner core. So we're going to hold these for quite a long time. If you need to, like I said, drop your knees down, take a break, and then come back up again. Try and keep a nice, long, flat back, strong legs through the feet, and really keep that core engaged all the time. Then push back into our downward facing dog. Then come forward again into our plank. And if you get a wobble on, it's normal. That shake is good. Come back into downward facing dog. And come forward into your high plank for one last time. You're nearly there. Keep going. You're doing amazing. Last 5 breaths. And through your chaturanga, upward facing dog. Try and keep your thighs off the mat here as you lengthen through your core, stretching out your abdominals. And then push back into downward facing dog. Then we're going to step forward with our right foot. Coming into our high lunge, we're going to come on up here. This is one exercise that I found really beneficial. Just be careful with your balance. Make sure your knee doesn't go over your toe. But you really want to lean into this and you want to really stretch out your hip flexors. When you're on your bike or running a lot, these become very tight and we often forget to stretch them and then we end up with a lot of injuries. So this is a great one to hold for 30 seconds, a minute, and just repeat it a few times and you'll feel it will release a lot of tension you might be finding in your lower back. And it's such a great one to do. It's quick and easy. You can do it if you're on your bike and you're struggling and you find your back's cramping up or you feel uncomfortable, you can jump off, do this. Same with if you're running, and just careful with your balance. And you'll feel it just releases so much. And you want to make sure that back leg is really nice and engaged so that you can actually feel it. Keep your stomach engaged and your core pulled in as well. Don't just sink into it, letting your stomach hang. You really want to feel it. Then come down through your chaturanga, upward facing dog. Again, keeping those thighs off the mat. Push back into downward facing dog. And hopefully each time you're going through your downward facing dog, you're finding that you're able to sit in this pose a lot more comfortably. And then step forward with your left foot, coming into your high lunge. Again, finding your balance here, being careful. And you want to sink down. Like I said, you've got to find that sweet spot for yourself. Find the area that you can feel in your hip flexor that's opening up without injuring yourself, but giving you the most release. You can keep your arms out by the sides to help you with your balance if you'd like, or hands on your hips, wherever feels best for you. But like I said, you don't want to let your core just flop down. Engage it. Sit up. Tilt your tailbone in. Then come down, step back through your chaturanga, upward facing dog. This time, hold it here, then you're going to tuck your toes, come down onto your forearms, and we're going to hold our low plank. Again, really making sure you're pulling that navel towards your spine so you can feel your inner core really, really working here. You want to imagine your muscles are like a corset. You want to strengthen them all the way around the spine, evenly and consistently. Then we're going to push up into our dolphin and then forward into plank. We're going to do this 5 times. And last one. Come up into your high plank. Engage your core. And through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Push back into downward facing dog. This time, you're going to bend your knees and you're going to jump to the outside of your mat, coming into our Malasana yogic squat. This is a really great way as well to release the tension out of your lower back. You often find children sit and play like this, and that's why they don't struggle with the same issues we do. You know, we very rarely will sit in a position like this, which has so many benefits. It takes that pressure off. It allows the spine to be how it's supposed to be. So sitting in this position, even if it's for a minute, 2 minutes, or if you're able to, sit and watch TV for a little bit in this position, you'll find you'll have so many benefits from it. You can use your elbows to push out your knees, just to get into your hip joints a little bit more as well. And then just breathe. And if you want to, you can also try and bring your forearms to the mat. Or if you feel more comfortable, you can stay here. And then take your hands, place them behind you. Come onto the mat into the center, coming into boat. You can either be in this version or you can be an extended boat, whichever you want. Again, pulling your core in, navel towards the spine. Common theme all the way through this. Lean slightly back, shoulders down. If you're an extended boat, come back into boat. And then bring your knees to your chest, sit up straight, try and keep your feet off the mat. And then we're just going to roll down one vertebra at a time, coming down onto the mat into our final position, Shavasana. Extend your feet to the far corners, allow your hands to fall wherever's comfortable to the outside of your body. Close your eyes and just take these last moments just to allow your body to settle, come back to its resting place. Allow your heart rate to come back to normal. Take a few nice, long, deep breaths here. And when you're ready, wiggle your fingers and toes and come and meet me in the center of your mat in your easy pose. Thank you so much for joining me on this really nice and mainly core based, but also it's got the toning, the flexibility and the strengthening side, just to allow you to have a really good, effective workout that you can use pre-race, post-race, or also just after you're working out or before you've got a heavy workout. And it really will help you to heal, but also to be prepared for your next race workout, because by allowing your body to be supple, strong, and also nice and flexible, it's going to give you a lot more benefits, and you'll see the results will come from implementing these sort of workouts into your routine. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And if you did like it, please like as well and leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought and share with friends and family or whoever else you think might benefit this. Someone else that might be training for Ironman or some other major endurance race, or somebody that's just getting into working out and already finds their body is hurting and just needs some help to get them through to the next day. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Until next time, take care.